Welcome back to Eagle Business with John and Angela. Joining us in the studio now is Jill Walker from Opsis. She's a subject matter expert and trainer in Microsoft Dynamics CRM, but she's an all-round expert in CRMs, and she's going to talk to us about that today. Welcome to the show, Jill.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
CRMs are a hot topic.
For those who don't know, we're talking about customer relationship management software.
You let the secret out of the bag.
I did.
CRM.
Yes.
A lot of people go CRM and they think they know what it is.
They do. And they also immediately think that it's purely technology. Give it to the IT people, they will make it work.
It's marketing fodder.
It could be marketing, it could be sales. It is certainly, it is people first, processes within the business second, and technology third. So it's not technology. Technology is important, but it's not, technology is not the be-all and end-all.
Those 3 points. So let's do that again.
It's people first.
People, process, and technology.
PPT.
So, absolutely, or PowerPoint, which it definitely isn't. So
that's the essence of a CRM.
It's certainly the important part. So look at it from all of the people concerned. They're all of your users, from management down to users. Very important to look at both putting data in and getting data out. A lot of failures are caused by people who focus very much on the management, which means that the project or the overall solution is seen as Big Brother. You're putting this in to watch me, to check that I'm doing enough calls, enough emails, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas it needs to give back to all of the users so that the information that they put in helps them on a purely personal basis. So each user gets benefit from the information that they put in. Users get benefit from information shared by other people, and management get the more global or big picture information, what I like to think of as the worm approach. Write information once, read it many times, so it passes through the organisation.
So just for people out there who are looking at this and thinking, is this actually something I need to be thinking about for myself or not? And I know the tempting answer to this question is going to be everybody needs a CRM, but at what point does it kick in where it's an absolute necessity? How big a business, how many people in the business, how many customers are you going to have before it's just stupid if you don't have something like this?
Yeah, who should actually get a CRM?
What sort of size business, how many staff, how many customers?
Surprisingly, it is smaller than many people might think.
We
have helped people with as few as half a dozen client-facing staff members or team members who, prior to the implementation, are spending half of their life trying to find the email, or did you talk to this person, or have you seen that,
Jill.
or
I think that's me.
whatever. And we can implement a solution that means that information is a user pulls what they need when they need, rather than having a whole bombardment that they then have to filter through.
But isn't one of the biggest problems with CRMs generally, you can get the exact right product and you can get it installed brilliantly, but it's still open to user failure, isn't it? I mean, if you don't enter the information correctly, if you have people in the business who just refuse to enter the information correctly or are just bad at it, then bad data is almost as bad as no data, isn't it?
Bad data is possibly worse than no data because it can be presumed to be correct, whereas I think most people would realise that no data is not correct. What you're saying is true. The solution is user involvement much earlier in the process, combined with a lot of training.
So you want to get buy-in from everyone who's going to be using it before you even start the implementation process.
I think that's where many of us are quite guilty on installing anything or using anything. And if you don't have thorough training with the CRM, it won't be used properly, it won't be maintained properly, and there will be that bad information syndrome.
Yes.
And then
absolutely.
There's a level of distrust about the product.
Yes, because it will be the product that is blamed before that's wrong because somebody entered it wrongly. People are very quick to blame it rather than certainly themselves, but
this
even their
software.
colleagues. Absolutely, this bloody software.
Yeah, this machine or this computer or this software didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't, and people need to want to train well and know a product thoroughly, not wait for the passage of time
Absolutely.
to get them to that point. Because you don't use different modules or different sections if you haven't been thoroughly trained on it. It's like doing an Outlook. Someone explains an Outlook to you in 2 minutes. Oh, you do this, and this to send an email, and nobody talks to you about everything else that you can possibly do on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And one of the keys is how the training is done. So the training needs to be done, at least for end users. There are multiple different aspects of training on anything, but particularly a line of business application such as CRM. So users need to be trained so that what the training shows them is how to do their job at least as well as they're currently doing it, supported and aided by the CRM solution.
Sure.
They do not need to be shown, click on this menu, go to this option, and you will get this functionality. The training needs to make the bridge between the functionality in question and the user or users in question's job, role, responsibility within the organisation.
Do you find that sometimes some of the biggest resistance that you can get is the fact that there has to be established a uniform practice in how workflows are actually conducted, and that may deviate from the way some people have preferred to do it over a long period of time, but they've all got to get in sync with each other in order to be able to make this team software work for everybody?
They have to get in sync to a degree, but that can mean doing everything in exactly the same way. But it can also mean doing things in slightly different ways. And I align it to a lot of folk dances. They all work. We don't all fall over, or we hope we don't. Mm-hmm. But we're still doing different things at different times and in slightly different ways. And there is the opportunity for expression. Mm-hmm. So if you as a particular salesperson have found a way that works for you, that you get the results, in general, you shouldn't be asked to change that. In actual fact, you should be asked to be a champion, because if your way is working and you're getting the results, if other people were to adopt your method, they would, with appropriate training, they would probably get those same results that you're getting. So it's better that your good method moves forward rather than your good method is squashed. Yeah. Now, if your method is not working...
But it does require a lot of buy-in, doesn't it, for this to work?
It requires buy-in at every level of the organisation.
Yeah.
And most importantly...
So if you've got a dysfunctional team,
the
CRM will shine a big light on that, won't it?
Probably.
Well, I mean, and there's a reason why a CRM is needed at the start, why someone wants to even contemplate installing that or putting that in their business or changing over CRMs from one to another. So there's a reason, and everybody needs to be on board with that original reason, and then take them on that journey. And sometimes you need to take your team kicking and screaming if you've got the big picture in mind, because a transition is never easy, but necessary.
Yes,
but necessary.
I'm a big advocate for CRMs. Yes. I think every business should have one. I really do.
Yeah. See, and I don't think that's a big call, because having experience, and I mean, Jill, you were just saying at the beginning, people are forever trying to find that elusive email that they think they got once, etc. And CRMs, I'm sure, can be used for different reasons and not necessarily just for sales or driven from that, because someone like me gets flooded with information for different businesses, and I need to build a bridge between all those businesses for many different reasons, and I haven't thought about till just now that a CRM would actually fix a lot of my
if it was set up properly
problems.
Definitely.
That's right.
Here's a question though: how important is it for the CRM to be fitting in with the other business management software that the company might be using?
It is absolutely essential. The utopia is to have the what I mentioned earlier, the worm. Write once, read many. So any given piece of data, whatever that might be, should be entered once by either one client, prospect or user, and then it should just get passed if I do
a quote for someone, it should be able to be turned into an invoice out of the financial management software without having to be re-entered.
Absolutely.
So if I enter a customer into the CRM, they should go into the financial management software as well once
they
the
become
transaction
a customer.
takes place. Yeah.
One of the challenges we see is people force their financial system into the only customer database they have. So you look at it, and maybe 80% of the customers in the system are not customers, they're prospects or even suspects or people who received a newsletter.
There are people actually using, and I've got clients who I've gone in and I've seen this, where they're using a financial management software. I won't name any names, but they're using the ones that you hear about every day. And because they've got no other software in their business at all, their customers' details are either in Outlook or they're in the financial management software, and there's really no distinction as to why that is.
In a book.
Well, but if they're using email or anything like that, they're going to be in some sort of a digital format. But trying to use your financial management software as a marketing tool, it's not designed for that. It's not going to work.
Now, we have run out of time, but there's two things I want to cover with you, Jill, and that is you have a CRM event.
We do.
And when is that?
On the 20th of June, we are running an event, part of our Ahead of the Pack series, so aimed at helping business people in organisations be ahead of the pack in their CRM usage. And this particular one is called Choosing the Right CRM for You.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got details of that event on the eaglewavesradio.com.au website.
Excellent.
Just go to Eagle Business, and we've actually put that out in our newsletter too.
Is there
so
a prize?
Of those
Did you mention something about a prize earlier?
Oh, I think we're giving away a couple of tickets to the event, aren't we?
I think we're giving away a couple of tickets, certainly.
Excellent.
Yes.
Right.
What do they have to do to get a ticket?
They have to be nice to me.
Right.
What do you think, Jill?
So send flowers too.
Or any donations or crowdsourcing. All they have to do is they have to just go on the eaglewavesradio.com.au website, go to Eagle Business, you'll see the links.
Okay.
And you'll be able to maybe get yourself some tickets to find out how you should choose the right CRM for you.
And that's a big question, isn't it? Because they're all different.
They are all different.
They're all different.
Can you tell us briefly about the CRM that you are recommending?
We, in the vast majority of instances, recommend Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Price-wise, it is hugely competitive. It is very flexible, so it will work with almost any business. And I've worked out over the years that the project failures are very rarely because the wrong technology was chosen. Coming back to my earlier point, the failures will be down to people or process within the project, not the technology.
One of the obvious benefits, obviously, of Microsoft Dynamics 2 is that just about everybody has Microsoft in their business, and so the user interface of it is familiar. Even though it's a different program, it's familiar, and people tend to recognise it. And the learning curve, I've noticed, tends to be less steep than going with something that's completely brand new.
Yep, that is certainly true.
Well, that's it for us.
That's it. That's the show. We're all done and dusted.
We are all done and dusted. Jill, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And discussing with us. Giving us some interesting 3 tips PowerPoint. Got to remember PPT.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, I like that.
People,
process,
and
technology.
We almost forgot that one. People, process, and technology.
We can almost forget.
Right? That's a good start.
T should have been obvious for technology, but anyway. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate that.
Thank you.